Welcome back. After a rough week in mid-May, conditions had become even more favorable for storms and even more intense thunderstorms, and the tornado potential by May 28th on the Tuesday once again had spiked. We again had our teams out and in place while the storms were fewer and farther between on that Tuesday. In many ways, it was worse than the week before.
So yeah, we set up west of Topeka. There were a few storms that went up that didn't really do much. That day we were actually a little bit worried with all the cloud cover that there were storms that moved through earlier in the day, and it was pretty cloudy, so not a lot of surface heating, which we didn't know if that would end up diminishing the chances for storms.
But it would turn out that the widespread cloud cover didn't stop the storms from forming that day. As the storms moved across Osage County, it was clear that these high precipitation storms would look very different than the storms last week. Somewhat tucked in on the leading edge of that rain, but the circulation is there. There's a view of it as it approaches. You can see the very ominous look to the storm cloud as it makes its way through northeastern Osage County and eventually on up toward Douglas County as well. From our Lawrence camera, I don't like the look at that at all. That looks like a very telltale sign on radar of a tornadic circulation just southwest of Lawrence. So we've got Dylan Kaloran. He is en route to this one as well. Dylan, what do you have?
Now we got a very large tornado, a large wedge tornado southwest of Lawrence.
Sometimes on some of those HP storms, you know, you can get yourself tucked in that hook and you could still see it. But this was one of those storms where you had to play a lot from behind. You had to play a lot of behind the circulation. You couldn't stay out in front, because if you were out in front, all you saw was just this big wall of rain. You know, I mean, you could see the rain curtains just like, you know, swirling back, you know, and circulating back into where this big tornado was. But it really, if you weren't, you had to be back in the rain, like right up close to it. And there were times where we were, you know, right there with the circulation when it crossed the road east of Overbrook, and you're just like, where's this thing at? This thing on the velocities on the radar, there's got to be a tornado. Where's it at? And
that may end up having it come through the southeastern corner of town. And of course, there are all those new areas of development east of 59 along K10, along that new stretch of K10. Those are the areas really under the gun, right near K10 and Iowa Street, and to the east from there. That might be the most concerned area with that. This is an extremely dangerous situation for southeast Lawrence right now, and areas to the anywhere between Lawrence and Baldwin City. Tornado warning is in effect for this area. This is a large, damaging, confirmed tornado. It is so hard to see into the rain there, but it is tucked away into that rain where you see all of that obscurity in that rain. There is inside of that a large and damaging tornado. There's the leading edge of the heavy rain. So it's going to be in this area right here, tucked into that rain. There's where the tornadic circulation, confirmed tornado on that storm passing over the southern end of Lawrence, but more likely just outside. It's close to Lone Star, southern end of Clinton Lake in Douglas County. But that is where the circulation capable of producing a tornado, confirmed that we have a tornado with it, tucked away into that storm. So what you're looking at, looking straight south out of there, you're looking at this leading edge of the rain right here. That's what you see over on the side of your screen there, and the circulation is just right tucked into that as well. David?
I think we're looking right at it, Matt. It's a confirmed large and dangerous tornado here. There is debris, and this is roughly 1 mile east of Lone Star and toward the Pleasant Grove area. And again, this is moving northeast toward that south part of Lawrence as we speak right now at a very rapid rate, but a confirmed large tornado coming in, and the warning does go until 7 o'clock.
All right, let's go ahead and take a full view of the Lawrence camera and see if we see anything more by just having it up larger. Again, what we're looking at into this storm right now, here is the leading edge of the rainfall with this storm, but tucked it into here, and those flashes of lightning may actually give us a vantage point of it. Likely in this area right here is where we're going to find that large tornado on the ground in Douglas County, south of Lawrence.
You can see the edge right over, you can see the edge of this big tornado right up here.
As Darren Brunin and Dylan Kaloran moved into position along K10 near Lawrence behind this dangerous high precipitation or HP storm, they watched as the tornado tore up areas just south of Lawrence. They came up along the backside of the storm so that they could let it move away from them instead of right at them. It's not the typical way you chase storms, but when they're wrapped in rain, you don't take any unnecessary chances to let an unseen or difficult to see tornado move right at you.
Power flash right in front of us.
While the tornado was hard to see, what became apparent was this tornado was big and was doing serious damage. The tornado created the power flashes as power lines along K10 were torn down by the powerful EF3 tornado that later even peaked out at EF4 strength.
And that was actually some of the strongest RFD, rear flank downdraft, that I've ever experienced. Very, very windy. At that point, we were probably in 100 mile, maybe more winds, just being that close to the tornado. But yeah, no, it was really windy, you know, and it was so windy. There were times where I thought, you know, I can't even hear myself think right now.
So we were on 59 highway, and we were listening, obviously, to Matt's forecasts. And as we were coming in, it was dark and cloudy, and it was clear there had been storms through the area and they were moving on. But we came to a certain part where the tornado had come through, and the first thing that we saw was an overturned semi. And so that was a little bit overwhelming in and of itself. And then with just in a few feet, we turned our eyes and saw that there were roofs just completely gone from these homes. And so we jumped out and we wanted to update people in the newscast. So we really wanted to update Matt and show the damage that was there.
Devastation, it would be the right word to use for this neighborhood in Lawrence, just on the other side of Highway 59. We do know that one of the families in the home that you're seeing right now, you can see what looks to have been the garage that has been collapsed in, and other parts of the home. I don't know if Sully can get it, but there's also a boat that was turned up against the side of the house. So there's significant damage to this home, but this is not the only home. Many of the homes in this cul-de-sac have damage.
I was first kind of overwhelmed by the number of people that were out and checking on their neighbors and asking if everybody was okay, and kind of starting to sift through what was left of their homes, and for some people that wasn't much.
As the tornado roared northeast, it became a concern that people would be caught in their cars as the tornado hit. It was moving to a highly populated area west of Kansas City. Right here. So this is going to pass north of DeSoto near Linwood. Here you've got Interstate 70. All right, now it's becoming a greater and greater concern for traffic along the Kansas Turnpike between Lawrence and the West Kansas City terminal. So again, if you are knowing of anyone and can get a hold of anybody who takes Interstate 70 between Lawrence and Kansas City, there are only a handful of turnoffs. Anywhere between the Tonganoxie exit and over toward 110th Street on the west side of Kansas City, there needs to be no traffic through there. Only mode of shelter, if you know somebody who's along there, let them know that if they stop at the toll booths, they can get underground at the toll booths. There are underground shelters at the toll booth at the east end of the Kansas Turnpike. For those in the field, the work isn't easy.
People who reached out after that lived in the area, that we, whether by TV coverage or live streams, things like that, they messaged that they say we're able to take cover in a basement because of KSNT or your warning that we saw, that thank you so much, and that you put yourself in danger trying to see a tornado and putting yourself on the northwest side of it, which you can get big hail, really strong RFD winds, stuff like that, really put your life on the line. But when you get messages like that and words of appreciation, it really makes you know it's all worth it to help out.
And it wasn't just tornadoes that we were dealing with through the month of May. Very wet conditions also caused widespread flooding. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the big floods that also plagued northeast Kansas during the month of May.